we will continue on with financing. But before we get there, I know that you had said that you had done the question. So, were you able to get out the answers?
Yeah, I'm still kind of confused about the cumulative thing,
Okay. Okay.
but I think I'm getting there.
Okay. No problem.
Can go through the payback a little, even though I feel like I know how to do payback.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
No
just
problem.
mhm.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Definitely. Okay. Let me actually share to help you better understand. Let me just stop sharing my PowerPoint and actually show my Excel sheet.
Yep.
Okay, all right, excellent. All right, so okay, right. And so remember that we are trying to get we're trying to get back $40,000 within a certain period of time, right? And so this here is the cash flow for each year. And so $12,000 is the cash flow for year one, and then $12,200 is the cash flow for year two. All right, and etc. All right. So when I subtract the 2,000 from 40,000, I get 28,000, right? And when so I have 28,000 left to retrieve, right? So when I subtract in my second year, when I subtract the 12,200 from the 28,000, I get back. Sorry, okay, and then I would have 15,800 to retrieve, right?
Mhm.
So when I subtract the 11,800 from a increased cash flow from the 15,000 and that I have remaining, right, to retrieve, I would have just 4,000 back, right, to retrieve. But we see here how a next year's cash flow is way more than the 4,000,
Mhm.
right? So all you have to do, right, is to right, is to say 4,000. How much is 4,000 out of the 14,200, right? And so then you would get the 0.28, right? And so when you do that, right, you see that you have accumulated all of the money over the 1, 2, 3 years, and plus a little bit of the fourth year, right? And so
Mhm.
you see here how I have 3, and so you have a 1, 2, 3 plus the 0.281690, and so you'd say and that the payback period is 3.28 0 and all that. Okay, and so you understand?
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah.
Also,
Uh-huh.
this table just calculated the cumulative and the payback period in one.
Um, uh, a repeat, please.
Oh, I was just saying, so in the question that asked us to calculate cumulative cash flow and the payback period.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that with the cumulative cash flow, that's how we would calculate the payback period too.
Yes.
But okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm happy that you were able to get out all of these. After this class, or when we're finished, I will send you this PowerPoint. Um, yeah, as well as the notes. All
Okay.
right, so let's get back to the stop sharing. Right, so okay. All right, so PowerPoint. All right, and so just let me know if you can see it. My
Yeah, I can see.
PowerPoint. Okay, all right, excellent. All right, so I know that we have started looking at the different types of financing. So can you tell me what? Well, can you read a review for us of what we did last week?
So we went through short term, medium, and I think long term financing.
Mm-hmm.
Short term entails oh yeah I think it's financing for like maximum for 6 months, something along those lines.
Yeah, 6 months or more.
Yeah,
But less than a year. So
yeah,
yeah.
less than a year. Can be a short term loan.
Mm-hmm.
I think credit cards can work too, if I'm not mistaken. Credit
Oh yeah,
cards.
definitely, definitely. Yeah.
Credit cards. I'm trying to remember. Short term. But I think those are the two that I remember. Then you have medium term. Yeah, medium term financing that is 1 year but less than 5 years, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what that entails. I don't remember what comes on the medium term financing.
Okay, no problem.
But for long term, it's 5 years or more.
Yeah.
We have long term loans.
Mm-hmm.
You have one just came to my head. Short term, long term shares. Shares can be one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shares in the business. And yeah, that's basically it. Obviously, you said more, but that's what I remember.
Okay, all right, excellent, excellent. At least you remember something. Some students I would have I've forgotten everything, but that's fine. You did a good job, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you're definitely right about the whole credit card for short financing. Sorry, for short term
Okay.
financing, and you also have like the same bank overdrafts. Right. Where you where if you don't have enough money on your account, you can always go to your bank and ask them for a bank overdraft, where you can get more amount, spend more than you actually have. But then you would have
Yeah.
to be careful with that because it puts you further into debt. Right, and then with the same
Mm-hmm.
credit cards, where you're able to use a credit card to pay for items as you said, and then another type of credit is that and so when you hear like trade credit, always think about accounts payable, right? Where you defer goods supply to you
Mm-hmm.
for like say next week or so, and so you would pay the supplier next week or whatever
Yeah.
time that you have agreed on, right? And then For medium term, as you said, it is a 1 year, but it can be a less than 5 years, and it can be either in the form of loans, higher purchase, for specifically when you're buying like furniture, or any house appliances or anything like that, right? And then we also said and that you can lease assets instead of actually buying them. And we spoke, I gave the example of a plane. Instead of buying a plane which costs like millions of dollars, and if you don't have millions of dollars, you can lease it for a period of time and keep on paying that lease payment each year, right? So
Maybe celebrities do that.
I didn't hear you.
Paul was saying maybe celebrities do that.
Okay. I'm not sure about celebrities. I'm not sure.
Why you think they would buy their own plane?
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, you mean like that. Yeah, it is possible. Yeah. Yeah, definitely so. Definitely so. Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely so. Or if after, well, no, because I had actually watched a video just earlier today before we came, right? And I had actually saw that, well, the actor didn't lease an apartment, but he actually bought an apartment for $4.6 million.
Well, you see, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
That's crazy.
a lot of money. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah. Or when you have money like sand, you can buy whatever you want, right? But yeah, but for us not so fortunate, people in the Caribbean, yeah, we can't afford that. So yeah. Right. Okay. So right. So now it is more so. So now we go on to long-term financing, and as you said, it is over 5 years, and it is used for more so long-term assets, such as buying a building or land. So we would do so like in the form of shares or even using venture capital, where you have where you would have outside investors coming and invest in your business, and then you would just repay them by using dividends, which is a portion, giving the outside investors a portion of your profits as a little thank you, right? And then, as we said, we have in bonds, where the government or any entity would borrow money from the public, right? And give them like interest each year until after a certain period of time, like 10 years, or even longer, they would pay back the full money and that they have owned, right? And so a mortgage already, and so we're not going to go through that. And then assistance from the government, as you know, the government would grant loans to certain sectors, not all sectors. And we said that it is, and that they would loan money to the fishing industry and also to the agricultural industry as well, right? Yeah. Right. So so I think we also went through debentures or bonds in a nutshell. So I would just go to the last part where it says that the money that is lent to the government or the corporation is called the bond capital, right? And then the interest and that you receive on that principal is called a coupon. And so for example, if you invested like say $1,000 into these bonds, right? The 10% is called the coupon rate, right? And so the government would give you like 10% of the principal. And so you would get like $100 a year from the bonds that you have invested in. And so you would get that $100 each year until the bond actually matures. Like say, okay, so I give the example of 10 years, all right? And so the government would pay you back at the end of the 10 years, and your full $1,000 would have been paid back by the end of the 10 years, right? And so the repayment date is called the maturity date, right? And so just let me know if you understood that, or do you need me to go over?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, excellent. All right, so we know about mortgage already. So I would only go through it like very briefly. You know that it is a loan given to either a business or a person. A sense is a sense is a lot of money. The loan is only secured if you have is only secured by property, right? So in the case that okay, you're buying a house, right? And in any event that you cannot pay back, the bank is going to secure your house as payment, and they would have their agents or whatnot sell off the house for the money, right? And so you know that in any loan there's always interest, right? And so the interest can be fixed or it can be variable, right? And what a variable means that it can be it can change, right? Okay, so but the thing with a mortgage is that you're able to pay back, in installments over the life of the mortgage, right? So that's something that's
why what's that?
Rate, right? And so you see here in brackets I have a rate after it. It just means rate.
NWA.
Oh, with sorry, right, with. Right, with. Right, with. Alright.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, alright, so I have already explained assistance from the government, and these are just examples. Yeah, an example. I give the example of the same a fertilizer, a manufacturer, Newport, Ferguson. Is that still in existence in Jamaica?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is. I just don't know.
Oh, okay, okay.
Let me research it right now. Newport first, and you can go ahead though.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, so that was just an example. Okay,
Yep.
okay,
Like,
great, great. Okay, excellent. All right, so yeah, like in the past. Oh yes, and also another. Well, it wasn't from the Barbadian government, but do you know like last year when Leah was in trouble, they were bankrupt, and some of um the Caribbean nations had helped it.
mm,
Another example can be Liat in terms of this a government assistance, but only in that particular area, right? So yes. Oh wait, before I actually go to the next slide, I just wanna ask you a couple of questions since we're dealing with finance. Oh wait, just give me a minute to let me plug in my charger.
hey.
Okay. All right. So yes, and so after every single thing that we have talked about, what is one thing that you would honestly say and that you need to be considerate of when dealing with finances, right? And this is a nothing. Well, it can be a pertain to a company or but this is like life in general, right? And so just tell me, what do you think
Mm-hmm.
um of one thing and that you need to have or be when dealing with finances?
You're talking personally or
Yeah, it can be personally or even corporately.
so what I would need?
Yeah.
Uh, um, what would I need?
Right. I mean, like in general, it doesn't have to be like personal or anything. It can be very general.
Um, what would I just thought of something. Oh my god. What do I need? Maybe a bank account first of all. But yeah, bank account.
Okay.
Um, oh, what else? What else? What else? Um,
Okay. Okay.
oh,
Actually, stop there. Okay.
personal,
Mhm.
maybe
Wait.
personal financial literacy because yeah, that should be a thing.
I repeat.
Personal finance literacy, like
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Yes, yes, yes. Finance, for
yeah,
financial literacy, and so you have to be responsible,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go. Okay. What about ethics as well? Since we're talking about finance and the government and even corporations, right? We know that indeed, these big names or celebrities or rich people, we know that they have a lot of assets all over the place. Some
Mm-hmm.
illegal, some legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say isn't that what do you think about that having an illegal source of income versus having a legal source of income?
Um, I feel like I kind of. This is probably me playing devil's advocate, but I feel like I know why
Mm-hmm.
celebrities do that. Like for offshore banking, they try to avoid taxes,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. And countries like Cayman and Bahamas do facilitate it. Yes, I remember this. I think it was last year. Some files got leaked, and it showed like Sharika. I think that's her name. She's Colombian. She has assets in some offshore banking thing, and it's illegal and blah 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 blah. But I kind of understand why. But then
Mm-hmm.
looking at it from a country's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and these people are making millions of dollars, and
Mm-hmm.
then they don't want to pay their taxes, and they stress out we, the poor people, who is barely finding food to eat, to take half of our money to pay taxes. I feel like it's kind of unfair, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. 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 I do agree as well that they should be able to give like a portion of their money to the persons who actually help them indirectly to get the money.
Exactly.
Right?
If they didn't even have a following, like a follower base, some of them could even do promotions or affiliate marketing to get money. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, if we weren't there, would you really be here?
Mhm.
Besides, obviously, you working, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. Right. So, okay. So, okay. Outside of all of that as well, what is something else that okay. Okay, actually, let me go back to the same financial literacy. If someone were to ask you, okay, what is financial illiteracy? What would you tell them?
Ah, I would tell them, this is you finding information or studying about how you can spend better, how can you budget better, how can you finance your lifestyle better,
Mhm.
how can you if you want to go to university, how can you fund that without your parents or without loans, like
Mhm.
things like that. I would be telling them
Mhm.
on the
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. Mhm. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Um. Okay. Good. And I feel that it shouldn't only be about yes how to
Mm-hmm.
finance a certain goal, but also how to be honest
Yeah.
with your finances and where you get your finances from, because a lot of persons always have to realize is that there are consequences to their actions, whether it is good or bad, right? And and especially with the bad consequences, you know that and that sometimes you can actually no most times you can actually get, I don't know, okay, how to put this, you can receive your reward like double fold. When I say reward, I mean like in terms of the illegal stuff, you can get like double fold or double payment for how you get it. For example, um if you with the same offshore banking and with it being illegal, and that you can I'm not totally 100% sure. However, I do I believe and that you can either pay a fine for that or you can get imprisoned or
Yeah.
both, right? So persons. Oh yes, and do you know that also with that with the putting prison or fined, you know, and that the news is going to like how to say this, catch up on your, sorry, they're going to investigate, right,
Mm-hmm.
your situation, and they're gonna put you on the paper and say, okay, this happened. And so you know, and that besides the imprisonment and the fee and that you have to pay, your reputation has been destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? And so then that means and that you're probably not going to get as much business as you used to. And then you'll probably have to go and live by a friend or either your family members and all of that. So we see here that there is a great price that has to be paid for illegal dealings with finances. But on the flip side, there is also a great reward as well for good sorry, not really good finances, but if you're able to use your finances to reap and sow into the lives of like poor people and all of that, and even into hospitals and all of that, you are going to reap what you sow. So it's actually a good thing to do good, right? And if
Facts.
I kind of may also extend it, I would only say godly stuff, right? So yes, so what I wanted to also look at is that there is no formula um to finances or how to get finances, that every single thing depends on the type of situation you are in, right? For example, I know that business owners, sorry, um I know that entrepreneurs are sole traders, right? They tend to use their finances if they don't have um a financial aid from banks, right? But
Huh.
see, and that you have like this person and sorry, this trusted mentor, a person who can guide you and lead you um into things that you yourself may not know or even perceive, right? And that person I can tell you, okay, listen, instead of going here where the crowd is big, huge, and there are a lot of competition, go in a rural area and sell your business. And offer your service, right? And with that guidance, you can get way more in that rural area than you would have gotten like in town or in a more populated area. And so we see here that not only and that there's no really a formula to getting finances, but indeed it all depends on the situation, but also having a good mentor, right? Because as it says, right, having a multitude of advisors makes the plan work, right? And so trust me, in dealing with a finances, get a good get a person who knows what they're doing, right? And then also planning, right? Planning is very, very, very important. You can't just say that, oh, okay, I need this amount of money. And as you said, if you want to like go to school and all of that, you would need to know how to budget, right? You would need to know exactly um how much streams or sources of income would you need in order to be able to pay your first year into college and all of that, right? Um, Another thing that we would have also looked at, going back to the same illegal illegal source of money, right? Never use the term like, okay, a get rich quick scheme to fund a long term project, right? Because we see how yes, you want to get a rich quick, but at the end, but as the years progress and something happens, you know that get rich quick is gonna tumble really and truly fast, right? And then instead of earning, you will lose every single thing. And so don't use short-term sources to fund, or short-term means to fund long-term projects. And then, as we said before, we need to be a good steward of our money. We have to be honest about it and also be responsible, right? So, do you have anything else to add or to share?
Nope. You
Oh,
covered everything.
okay. All right. Great. And then also another thing that I also want to advise, and this is just a teacher's advice. I would also, well, I think that we have honestly covered direct counsel and information and knowledge, but I want to go, oh yeah, and also a little bit of wisdom, but I want to also go a little bit into history, right? History tells you a lot, right? It tells you a lot. Can you are you able to predict the future from history? Yes, somewhat. You can't exactly time it, but you can predict it, right? So just pay attention to history, all right? And it also has to do with like finances and every single thing like that. If you can like look, okay, for example, if you want to go into a real estate, right? In order to know if if a real estate is a good business to go into, do your research, look back at the years and that have passed, to see how a real estate have grown, right? And if it's declining, or if it's re-emerging, or if it's getting much bigger, right? um yeah. So then, how to choose the right source of income? Well, um and these are the 5 things that a business has to take into consideration. The cost of the firm. How much do you have to pay, right, or undertake? Is it going to damage you in the short run, or is it going to help the business to grow in the future? Right, and then the use of funds, as we said before, we have to be very honest with how we use our finances. We have to be very wise as well, not to use our finances irregularly. Um, just yesterday, um, the government of Barbados said that they want the the public to come and get vaccinated quickly, because the vaccines are expiring, and some have a short uh, a short shelf span, right? And so they're not able to last a very long. And going forward, they honestly have to pay attention on how much is needed and all of that. In my personal opinion, I believe that after they had bought a batch, after having bought like the first batch and all of that, I think that they should have done, and even after all of the other vaccines have come out, I think that before they had bought the other vaccines, I think that they should have like done a survey and asked persons if they prefer, like if they prefer a vaccine over the other. And I think that based on that um report, and that they would have known exactly, okay, most of the people prefer Pfizer, so we would get this how much, and right? So it shows you how you have to be very detailed when it comes to finances as well, because you don't want to lose any money as well. Right,
Yeah.
and then also, as we have here, the size of the organization, right? Is it big? Is it small? And you know that a smaller organization wouldn't need as much funds as a large organization, and so you do have to take into consideration that, and also about the credibility as a well of the firm, because um a larger businesses are more credible, so they might be able to borrow a loan and pay it back much faster and easily than a smaller business can, and all of that, right? And also financial stability. With a larger business, the cash flow is more consistent, right? Whereas with an entrepreneur, it may be up and down, right? It may be kind of unstable, right? And so you don't know exactly when you're gonna get the next paycheck. And so you do have to consider if you are going to use shares as your as means of getting money instead of taking out a loan, right? And
Yeah.
also gearing of the company, right? Okay, and this is just long-term loans and personal saving, right? So it kind of just means like Are you sorry. Okay. It has here that high geared companies have significantly higher loan capital than share capital. So it just means that a larger companies, sorry, and that these type of companies, they obviously borrow more.
Than
Um
people buying shares in
yeah,
their business.
yes, in other businesses, right? So that is all that the company is going to have to consider when choosing the right source of income. All right, and you're are going to need a very good financial manager as well. Right? So yes. So honestly, these are just the international financial institutions. I wouldn't really go into that all that much. However, I would send you a video on each if I can. Right? But I am sure that your textbook I would honestly say I give more details on these institutions.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Right. So these are just stock exchange markets where the public can actually invest in a certain business, which is trading on the stock market, right? And this is the Jamaican stuff. Oh yes, but there's also another thing. You honestly will have to use a stock broker, someone who can trade for you or on behalf of you, because the public can't trade stock on their own. They would have to do it through a stock broker. Right? And so these are just the number of exchanges across the world. So there is Jamaican Stock Exchange right in your home country, right? And it was incorporated in 1968, but it started trading the following year, and this is with its main role as promoting the development of a vibrant um, capital market, and then also the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange is the second to be established in the Caribbean, and then the Barbadian Stock Exchange is actually the first stock exchange established in the Caribbean. But we know that out of all of these, the New York Stock Exchange is actually the largest in the world. Yeah. And then following, you have the London Stock Exchange, which is the oldest. Right? So, yes. So, I believe that concludes our finance lecture. Right. So do you have any questions?
No. I feel like I understand.
Oh, okay. All right. That is great. That is great. That is great. So on Friday we would just get into the new topic.
Which is
I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know. Right.
yeah, let me go so I can read ahead.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah, I would. But probably the topic for actually no, I do know. It just came back into mind. Financial statements. Yes, that is the next topic in your textbook. So I would do that.
Alright,
Financial
no problem.
statements.